Welcome to the Parts Girl podcast, powered by PartsEdge with Kaylee Filio. Conversations that will transform the way we do business. Gain insight into the wins and struggles from automotive professionals.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Parts Girl podcast. I have Corey Smith with me. I'm excited to interview you, Corey. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, it's nice to be back.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had very many people come back. I feel like you're almost the first guest to come back and interview. So this is going to be a little bit different style of an interview.
Yeah, well, I've been begging you for months to put me back on, so thank you for finally accepting.
I feel like it's been the other way around. I'm like, hey, Corey, you want to come back on the show?
It's been a busy few months, right?
And I think that's why I wanted you to come back on, because there's a lot of changes that has happened since the last interview. So do you want to share with everyone just really quickly, what's going on with you?
Yeah. A high-level overview is AutoCare and EasyCare / APCO Holdings have come together. So now we're one big happy family, which is huge in our industry. So we've all played in the same type of region and realm, and now we're all one team. And that happened when we flipped to a new calendar year. So that has created an influx of not only business for me personally, for our department in the fixed ops realm, but also for the whole organization. So we went from, a couple hundred employees to now almost 1,000, right? And now we're going to try to organize everybody to speak the same language, be one team, right? And you're going to be in charge of the West, you're going to be in charge of the East, and so forth and so on, right? So that's something that our goal is by the end of the year to have that completed.
That is a great goal, and I think that's a lot of work internally to deal with.
It is, but everyone's running and taking care of the clients and still doing business as usual. And I've got to tell you that I've met quite a few people from EasyCare and APCO and GWC, and they have the same mindset, the same want-to-win attitude that we have. So our cores are very similar. So now it's just, putting on the same polo, if you will, right? And wearing the same logo and talking, right? That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so with you and your role, how has it changed? Are you traveling more, or because you said it's, with business, you're probably doing a lot more training.
It's a lot more. There was a month span that I was only home on the weekends, and it's been a lot, but it's slowed down a little bit so I could be home for a week. You just happened to catch me this week being home. Next week I'm in Alabama. The week after that I'm in Ohio and Oklahoma. So I'm all over the place. But with that, we're going to have to hire more fixed ops trainers, which is a great problem to have.
That is a great problem to have. So if you're in fixed ops listening and you have interest, you probably should reach out to Corey.
Yes, please.
Yeah, there's a good plug for you. Okay, so today, before we started recording, we were talking about what are we even going to talk about today? Because everyone kind of knows who you are. And if you don't, then listen to the old episode. But so we were talking about cyber attacks, which SDL brought up. And this is probably going to go out after the SDL this Sunday. So because SDL is going to be talking about that. And then, just how the industry is shifting. So let's talk about cyber attacks first before we go to industry shifts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great topic that the manufacturer isn't talking about, the industry is not talking about. I mean, if you Google it, there's very few articles that really talk about it. But let's just unpack this for a second and think of a vehicle that you just bought, right? It's a computer. For all intents and purposes, it has a GPS, it has a computer to run the engine, all the modules, all the sensors, right? All that stuff, right? Yeah. So it is a computer. It's a connected car. You can actually have your car connected.
And this is not even just fully electric cars. The Bronco I just bought has a computer in it. Even though it takes gas, it could be attacked, I guess.
It can be, yeah, 100%, because you put your personal information in there.
Yeah.
You merge your phone into that computer system, and that can be attacked, right? Connected cars, whether it's hybrid or an autonomous vehicle that can drive on its own, right? All those can have cyber attacks. So the technology in these vehicles
look like what would because I probably know the answer to this, but I'm asking you, like, what does that look like when, like, do they just take over my car and drive it however they want to drive it? They can't take over it, can they?
Yeah, they can. Certainly can. They can give it different coordinates, right?
Yeah.
But they can pull all that personal information that you have out there, all the phone numbers that you save into your phone, your home address, all that stuff, right? So that's
part of personal information.
Yeah. So tackling the learning curve, right? Just like it's hard to stay ahead of your own personal technology, the amount of things that we learn when you're buying a tech-forward vehicle can be overwhelming. So are the dealerships getting trained and have training and education programs to teach their staff? That answer is unequivocally no. They're not. So if a customer comes in saying, I've been hacked, there's nothing to protect them.
Has this happened? Has someone been hacked before?
Yes.
Do we have yes? And what happened? Yes. They just took all of their information and sold it, and what happens?
So let's see if I can unpack this one. So the communication that is risked, right? They're saying that cybersecurity firm found 380% increase in auto API cyber attacks just in 2022 compared to 2021.
Wow.
So the attack involved multiple auto manufacturers, and basically they relied on the connectivity such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth to either steal personal data or remotely unlock, start, and steal vehicles using the RFID technology.
Yeah.
So think about that for a second, right? You buy insurance for your vehicle, right? And that's it. Your insurance company is not going to cover you on a cyber attack.
No. But are they going to start offering that then? Is that going to be a new type of insurance?
No one's talking about it.
I know that. I thought we were talking about it.
Yeah. So at our level for National Auto Care / APCO Holdings, we're talking about it. We're trying to come up with ways that we can protect our dealer by having training to teach, at least from my spectrum is the service department. But for the whole dealership, sales, F&I, all that, we want to train everybody and elevate everybody up, but also coming up with a program to protect the end user, which is the customer, so they don't have to rely on their insurance company. They can have something else that they can rely on. So that is something that we're thinking of, because if you're talking about cybersecurity, we understand it with computers. We've been buying, protective software to protect myself from cyber attacks. We have firewalls, and when we buy a cell phone, we do all those things, right? But now it's all being put in your vehicle that you're driving. No one's talking about it. They're just rushing to get this out there.
Yeah, and we have been doing this with our vehicles for some time now. This isn't totally new. So the people who are attacking already have it figured out because it's not new.
Right. And so we're trying to offer forward-thinking protection. The need for F&I products to cover the risk of a connected vehicle, electronic vehicle, EVs, whatever comes next is only going to increase. J.D. Power, who I'm a huge fan of, says that half of the United States new vehicle consumers will have a EV option by the end of the year, and closer to 75% of those will close by the end of 2026, right? So we need to have something to protect them, not only for the protection of the technology breaking, but for cyber attack protection as well.
Yeah. And you guys are already talking about this and coming up with plans.
Yes.
For your dealer. Yeah. Gosh, scary stuff.
It is.
I'm excited for SPL too to unpack it in with all that group of people too.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to hear that conversation, because a lot of them are working in the dealerships. Let's say 90% of them are in dealerships, right? That is a huge number to say, I don't know anything about this. I'd be interested to see how many are actually talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then we want to talk a little bit about the shifting of the industry right now too, with, now that parts are a little bit more available, sales are kind of going down because interest rates are higher. So, I mean, we've still been there's been this focus on fixed ops, but I feel like it's even more heavy now because of the shift that's going on. What are you seeing? What do you think, dealers need to be focusing on with this shift?
I think dealerships still want to be making the same money that they've been used to making for the last couple of years. And if they're not already thinking about this, write this down. Service. You need to be pulling more money out of service. And how are you going to do that? What is the one thing that you can do right now to set yourself up that if you don't sell a single car, you can still pay all the bills and have the employee lunches and the barbecues and all that stuff, right? And then that's training your service department to give the customer a better experience. Parts are becoming more available now, right? But like you touched upon, high interest rates are killing people from going, I want to buy a new vehicle, I want to buy a new RV, right? The percentage to buy an RV is a huge percent. It's almost 15% nationwide, right? So your power sports and your RV customer, they're not buying anything new right now. So how are those industries going to withstand the not selling any of those units? They've got to focus on service, right? Same thing with your dealership. So how are you going to focus on service? How are you going to attack that? I've talked to so many dealers that say, I really want to do some service advisor training. Okay, what do you think your team needs? I don't know. Can't you just come in here and do it? You want to make sure that the training is impactful and it's something that's going to elevate the staff. Training just to have somebody sit up there and talk for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and they don't get anything out of it isn't going to help, right?
That would be my question, is how, because it's not a one size fits all, because different dealerships are going to have different needs, especially for let's talk about fixed ops operations that are already doing good and that they're producing. And like, how do you not convince that they need training, but like, what's your process of hey, it is worth the investment, even if your dealership's already doing really good in fixed ops?
Well, yeah, let's just say for you personally, if I came to you and say, hey, if you give me $10 within 10 minutes, I'm going to give you 20. Your $10 is going to, your $10 investment is going to turn into 20. Would you do it?
Well, yeah.
So would the dealer. Right. So if we tell the dealer, you're doing great, you're setting records, you're breaking records, but if you really look at your operation, are you practicing as a team to running a process? 9 times out of 10, they don't have a written process, right?
No.
If you had a written process and you practiced more, would you be able to work on more cars? Would you be able to not, quote unquote, leave money on the table, educating that customer why they need to do an alignment, right? Instead of being so hurried to get on to the next customer that you missed that step, right? Yeah. So sometimes it's not about a new widget or a training philosophy. It's taking what the team is doing well, like you said, not a one size fits all, taking what the team is doing well and enhancing that by having a written process and practicing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
86% of your customers will spend more money if they get a better experience.
There you go with some stats.
I'm the stat guy. You know that. I'm an analytical kind of guy.
Well, it puts it into perspective. Like 86% of, what do you say, consumers want to come back. They want to spend money with people they trust, basically.
If they're going to get it, just think of the things that you do with you and your husband, or you take your daughter to Disney, right? You can go anywhere in the world to go on an amusement ride, right? But people go to Disney. Millions of people go to Disney. Why? It's the happiest place on earth. It smells good. Pluto's out there in 110-degree weather. They put fragrances in the air.
They do?
Yes.
I did not know that.
See? Learn something new every day.
I'm not going there until my kid is a little bit older to remember us going to, and I'm
Yeah,
going to do it.
If you're going to pay that kind of money, yes, I agree with you. I did the same thing. But
now I have 2. Oh gosh, how are we going to do that? I didn't think about that. Never mind. We'll talk about that later.
You're going to have to stagger them, I think.
Yeah. One of them's going to get gypped.
Right. One of them's not going to remember, but you're going to have to record it. So if you look at that 86% of those customers, and you're one of those customers, you go to a particular place because you you felt good when you left. You felt like you got the most bang for your buck, or it was worth every penny, right? It's all perceived value. Are we doing that in the service department every single time a customer comes in? I'm going to tell you no. Maybe 36% of those customers are getting a good experience, but the service department's overwhelmed.
Yeah, because they're just like push them through.
Yeah.
And yeah, consumers are in a hurry, but it's also, finding that balance, I think, right? And that's probably what you train on, is the balance.
We teach advisors how to control the day and not let the day control them, right?
Yeah.
Industry standards say that, a service advisor can work on 15 to 18 repair orders. But if we teach them how to control what they can control, preparation, right, equals that control, they can write up more than that.
Yeah.
If they're trained on how to do that, right? And if they're not, that's where that's falling through the cracks, right? I'll hire another service advisor. Well, that service advisor doesn't get trained either, and you get poor CSI. And now you miss out all your bonus money, and the customer probably won't come back, right? So it's a double-edged sword. So I think training your service department and having processes both from the technician standpoint, right? Operation of business, ordering the correct part in the parts department and the service department all the way through, is you wouldn't sell one more car if you elevated your service department. You wouldn't need to.
You wouldn't need to. And do you guys touch on parts at all? I can't remember if you guys train a little bit on parts.
A little bit. We rely on people like you to help keep everything fluent and organized, but we'll work with the customer-facing counterperson to help them with their power of words, if you will, how to speak to a customer in order for them to understand why this part cost $700.
That's good, because that's really needed, because we talk about service training. I wanted to make sure people knew that you guys do kind of focus on that type of parts training as far as the sales aspect of being a parts person.
And that holds true with the technician, right? Technicians are doing more video multi-points, right? So they have to speak correctly, right? And they have to be matter of fact. They can't just do what they normally do and just go through that multi-point, just hand it over to the advisor. Now they're on camera doing all this stuff. So they're selling themselves and the product that they're working on. And we teach them as well.
How are you seeing techs adopt that technology? Are they scared, or are they like...
They're resistant, but I think if you put a process in place and couple that with incentives, whether it's an experience, whether it's money related, spiff, whatever that is, that drives the behavior. Just like anything new, you want to be able to drive the behavior, right? So if you're a dealership that is like, well, my people don't want to do it, Henry Ford said it best. If I asked the customer what they wanted, they would have told me they wanted a faster horse. Don't ask the tech if they want to do this. We teach them how to do this, and we show them, if you do this, this is what you'll get. What's in it for them, right?
Got to show them what's in it for them.
Yeah, if they don't see what's in it for them, they're not gonna do it, no matter how easy it is or anything like that. So if you teach them the new widget, which is this video multipoint, how much more money they're gonna make and how much easier it's gonna be for their life, they'll do it.
They will. So you're seeing them do that then, because of course they're resisting, but then you also see dealerships showing them, and you're helping show that. So
yeah, the same thing held true when the manufacturer introduced the multipoint. All the technicians said, I'm not doing that. I don't get paid to do that. So what did I do as a service manager? I internaled a tenth or two to do a multipoint, right? And then I took that away after the behavior was already part of it. It was already part of our core after, let's say, a year, right? And then they saw the perceived value when they filled out that multipoint. The customer bought more stuff. It's the biggest tool that you have as a technician or an advisor.
And people are still not doing it. Or dealerships are still doing it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the percentage of how many dealerships are not doing it?
I wouldn't dare say, but it's in the 40s.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's scary.
Yeah,
That's a lot of lost opportunities.
it is.
It really is. What about, okay, so since we've done our interview, I can't even remember how long ago it was. It was probably almost a year ago because you were probably one of the top like 10. And I think the podcast has been going for about a year now. With the industry, I feel like we had this like, okay, no one knew what to think about with COVID. And then we're out of COVID and we're like, everything's just shifted. And we're like, sales, everyone's having these crazy sales. Now it's like, what is your mindset of like where we're going?
I don't know, and then you've got this huge shift to let's just rush to have electric vehicles to the market and all this other stuff.
I know, a hard question.
It's a really difficult question because when COVID hit, we had to pivot. Not just our industry, but every industry had to pivot somewhat. Some of them didn't do it very well. They're out of business. And some of them adopted when they would have done it kicking and screaming, right? Look at automation. Look at having a BDC that isn't in your dealership. It's in someplace else, or delivering a car off-site, or mobile service, or mobile delivery, right? All those things, high percentage of dealers were not doing before COVID, before they had to, right?
Now they have to.
Right. Now I think you're going to see, after pre-COVID, we're all out of it, like you said, I think you're going to see people really shifting towards doing it better, having more trucks to do mobile service, having salespeople that all they do is deliver the vehicle virtually, right? Those things are going to be done better than they were during COVID.
I agree. And I think, just going through the process I did, because I didn't buy my new car in the state I live in, there's so many things that I would have thought the process that could have been better, just because I feel like Amazon has turned us all into snobs. And, it's like we expect that type of communication, I think, on deliveries. So,
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation I think we could talk about. But I think I feel like everyone, was having all these really crazy months of success without really having to try really hard, right? Like for some reason we were all just like, there's these crazy months, record months. Everyone is having these record months. And I'm not saying that they weren't trying, but I feel like it was just happening, right? Like people are like, we're so busy.
Right. And no one's coming through the door. The phones are ringing off the hook. Right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had to do with people were home. They had time to do research and focus. So if you had a good website and you had a great presence social media wise, they came back to you because of those big things, right? And then if you were able to answer their questions, and human to human contact is still always going to be there, right? That allowed you to have more success without walking around the lot, asking the same questions, inspecting their vehicle, right? It changed a little bit. It evolved, right? So I think those things, coupled with the technology that got pushed into the dealership because of COVID, is going to ride out, and it's just going to be a better process. So it's going to be smoother. So what the bumps in the road that you felt when you bought yours compared to 5 years, if you go and buy another one, probably going to be a lot different.
Oh, totally. I would hope so.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it, right? Like,
yeah, we're not the only ones talking about it, right?
Exactly. Because it's a big topic. I feel like some of the questions I want to ask you, I've already asked you. So I'm like, how do we wrap this up? Because there's so many, like, normally I ask like fun personal questions, but I've already feel like I've asked you these. I guess what's been something that you love about your role now that you're, you guys have merged? What's something that's excited you about, your the merch and everything?
I think being in a room with like-minded individuals and having that room be bigger. Now I have a marketing team that I can talk to that we can go to work on something, or we can talk about putting together protection for cybersecurity that would have taken us a lot longer to do. We can do stuff in real time so much faster than before the merger. I'm excited about having more fixed ops trainers in other parts of the country so that we can cover ground a lot more with our dealers, because they're going to need this support, right?
Yeah. And what sets you guys apart from other fixed ops trainers?
I guess quite simply is the dealer doesn't have to stroke a check. As long as they're carrying our products, it's part of the service.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you're selling our products, this is part of what you get. You get sales training, you get F&I training, you get fixed ops training.
That's a huge benefit.
Yeah. Yeah. No one else can offer that.
So that's what sets you guys apart. Very cool.
Right.
What is something that, I guess, is there anything exciting that you haven't shared with anyone? Like, is there anything coming up that you are excited about that you want to share, or you're just traveling a lot?
So one thing that I'm excited / nervous is that we have a huge fixed ops seminar coming up with over 120 service advisors over the course of 3 days. And it is going to be epic. In the same breath, I'm like, oh my goodness, people are going to be watching me, right? Stand up there and
on stage, right? You're probably going to present.
Yeah. I'm going to have a mic in my hand and the lights and all that stuff. But I'm looking forward to it in the same breath, because I'm going to change lives by helping someone else do their job a little bit easier, understand it a little bit more, right? Understanding that they have those core values within them. I'm just here to help you. That's it, right? That's what I'm really looking forward to. And I think this platform with APCO Holdings, Easy Care, GWC, National Auto Care, that's what I'm really excited about. I'm excited to do this not only in the market that I live in, but do it on a big stage as well, and doing virtual classes as well.
Oh, that's so exciting. And when is this taking place? Do you guys have dates yet?
Yes, we have dates starting in end of July, going all the way through October. So it's like a big Corey Smith tour in different markets. We'll have stuff posted on social media, and
I didn't see that. The Corey Smith.
We'll give away prizes of unspeakable value, all that stuff.
And anyone can come to this, or is it only people who use your guys' products and training?
So we're going to open it up to everybody. Obviously, the ones that are partners of ours get a big discount. The ones that don't have to pay the door rate, right? But it's something that we're really looking forward to.
That's so cool. I can't wait to see more information about that. So, and anyone's listening can look out for it. I think that wraps up the show. I feel like we unpacked a lot of stuff. Cyber attacks, the industry shifting, it's just a lot of stuff. So I'm excited you came back on the show.
I thank you for having me, and I had a blast. I always love seeing, how you're pushing the envelope and putting everyone on notice of what you guys are all about and what you do. And I think it's super important. I've felt it from the minute I met you. I think you do a great job. The company does a great job. And the fact that they gave you the keys and said, here, run with this. And you're like, okay. And you just did it, right? That's commendable. More people just have to just take the keys and just go, and don't worry about what comes next, right?
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun. This last year has really changed a lot of my perspective and a lot of things. So I'm looking forward to the future.
I am too. I can't wait to watch.
Thanks for coming back on the show. Everyone, if you need to get a hold of Corey, you can find him on LinkedIn. We'll also have his links in the show notes. So yeah, thank you, Corey.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. PartsEdge, the power tool for your parts department. We hope you're leaving feeling motivated, challenged, and inspired.